Well, it's a beautiful sunrise here at the entrance to the Misson Springs FRACK pad at Misson Springs in northeast Nottinghamshire. It's somewhat fresh to go with it. Temperature is barely above freezing, but the wind chill makes it feel a lot colder. As you can see, not a lot of activity here at the moment, although I do understand that 5 wagons of aggregate have already gone in earlier this morning. Obviously, they're operating without any police cover at this time of the morning. Anyway, let's swing around from the sunrise here. Let's see what's going on. There we go. Oof, it is a little fresh out here this morning. Anyway, yesterday was a good day in many respects, and you know, another rat leaving a rapidly sinking ship. This time it was John Dewar of Third Energy, and he's been, or he claims to have been, one of the founding members of Moreland Energy. Of course, Moreland Energy effectively sold out to INEOS last year when Third Energy were in desperate need of cash before belatedly filing their accounts. Of course, those accounts still haven't been filed for 2016 yet, nearly 4 months late. But John Dewar has resigned his commission. Now, of course, that is being spun as well. It was always planned that John Dewar was going to resign from the board of Third Energy in October when he reached his 65th birthday. But somehow I think there's a little bit more to it than that, because John Dewar had previously stated that the FRACK at Kirkby Misperton would be his crowning glory. And although it wasn't expected that Third Energy would be the first company to frack in the UK, with that accolade most likely going to Quadrilla, but then with all the delays at Preston New Road, John Dewar finally accepted that the writing was on the wall, and it looked like Third Energy would indeed be the first company to frack in the UK since the moratorium was lifted back in 2012. Well, as time goes on, of course, that accolade doesn't look like it's going anywhere soon, because today is day 78 since Barclays Bank, trading as Third Energy, submitted their application to Greg Clark. Let's see if we can get out of the shadow a bit here. It's like I can see it's like a 5 o'clock shadow on my where are we going? 5 o'clock shadow on my face as a result of trying to stand out the sun here. Let's see what's going on. Such is live broadcasting. Oh, right, without obviously the usual crew that follow the likes of the BBC and ITV around. But anyway, enough of that. Looks like we might have lost the live stream on Facebook as well. So anyway, we'll stay with what we got rolling on YouTube. So anyway, where was I? Yes, John Dewar resigned his commission as director of Third Energy, and been replaced by somebody by the name of Alan Lunn, who doesn't appear to have any other directorships. And one can only wonder if it was a case of, hey, Alan, fancy being a director of a company? Well, sounds like a great idea. Yeah, thanks, John. What do I do? Yeah, just sign here. And I wonder if Alan Lunn actually fully comprehends the magnitude of the responsibility that will now fall on his shoulders as a newly appointed director of Third Energy. Of course, if Alan Lunn has done his due diligence, he will absolutely recognise that Third Energy is not fit for purpose, is not in any way, shape or form equipped to conduct a frack at Kirkby Misperton, and Third Energy has a congested frack pad that is so in contravention of all basics of health and safety that the plug should be pulled immediately. But bravado and blind ignorance probably won't allow him to do that. And so he will no doubt continue to trot out the same BS that John Dewar and Raslig Valland have been trotting out, you know, for the last well, 78 days basically, that, you know, yeah, we're ready to go, we're ready to frack. No, you're not. You are ready to perpetrate an absolute disaster. And what you're hoping is that government ministers like Greg Clark do not have either the competence or the courage to pull the plug on your ill-conceived plan. But you know what, longer it goes on, then they may not have the knowledge, and they may not necessarily have the courage, but they do have a political future, or would like to think they have a political future, and that may be enough to get the plug pulled on it. And of course that will be not only the right decision anyway, but it will be the right decision for the country, even though it may not necessarily have been taken for the right reasons. So watch this space. Somebody is still having to cough up well over £100,000 a day for all that kit that's lying dormant on the site. And you know what is even more concerning is that ironwork that has been rigged up to pump those fluids down the hole at enormous pressure has not been tested now properly for the last 78 days. And of course the ironwork linking the pumps, the blenders to the wellhead are the most crucial elements in this operation, because if there is anywhere where a frack job is likely to fail above ground, it's going to be within the ironwork. And that ironwork is normally pressure tested, you know, right from the get-go, using liquid nitrogen, and basically it should be pressure tested on a regular basis. And here's the question: when was the last time that ironwork was properly pressure tested? Because you know what might have been functional 78 days ago has been through some pretty interesting weather extremes over, you know, that past nearly 12 weeks now. And so it should be, the whole site should be forced to undergo another full test, and my bet is that it would be found wanting. So that's Third Energy not going anywhere fast, and you know, no doubt there will be increasing scrutiny. As I say, I doubt Alan Lund has done any kind of proper due diligence. He would probably be very concerned about being associated with Keith Cochrane, of course, who took the helm briefly for Carillion, and it would seem, you know, tried to paper over the cracks and keep things covered up until it just got too blatant, and they pretty much went straight into administration. So this is not a good time for the unconventional gas industry, I am extremely pleased to say. So here now at Mission Springs, it is the last week, in fact, from next Thursday, which will be the 1st of February, one hopes that iGas will no longer be able to continue the pad construction here at Mission Springs, on the basis that Nottinghamshire County Council will have upheld clause 21 of their planning permission, which prevents them from continuing with the construction work beyond the end of January, and forces them to hold off coming back to the site until the 1st of September to allow the rare birds, not least the long-eared owl, to go through their nesting cycle in the site of special scientific interest that is adjacent to this pad here. And of course, if for whatever reason Nottinghamshire County Council do agree to waiver the clause 21, then it will once again just show that planning conditions are really not worth the paper they're written on. And this industry, as we've always stated, works on the basis of you do whatever you have to do to get your foot in the door, and then you just keep trying to ram it further and further open. And you know, it's a lot easier for this industry, it seems, to ask for forgiveness than it is to ask for permission. So keep the pressure on, watch this space. This industry is under enormous scrutiny. Of course, meanwhile, iGas are also looking to return to Ellesmere Port on Merseyside to conduct some flow tests there. Of course, Quadrilla are still desperately trying to convince their investors, primarily Centrica and AJ Lucas, and that Preston New Road is a viable proposition. Although the longer that goes on, the more of a disaster zone that looks like, as Quadrilla seem to have absolutely no control over the surface water whatsoever. Sounded like it was getting a bit close. So all to play for, really. It's amazing what this community has managed to achieve, because nobody expected that we would get through to 2018 with the country still frack free. And actually, even though the price of oil is now pushing around about the $70 mark, and these cowboys think they might actually be able to make a little bit of money, they're not really interested in making any money. They're just interested in being able to blag some more access to debt so they can keep paying themselves outrageous salaries and give themselves outrageous benefits like big pension pots, and keep this gravy train going as long as possible until eventually the plug gets pulled. Because I think that only the most myopic, the likes of maybe Jim Ratcliffe, truly believe that there is any real possibility of this industry having any longevity. I think it's in the dying phase, but now more than ever before, it needs local communities to absolutely get involved and do whatever it takes to ring the death knell for this abomination once and for all. So meanwhile today, I gather we've got some people coming down from Kirby, and we have, and I know there's a few locals coming up today. And at the weekend, it's going to be a construction weekend at Miston Springs Protection Camp. So we still need building materials and pallets. And if you feel that you'd like to make a financial contribution to the costs of establishing the Miston Springs Protection Camp, then please go to frackingnightmare.com, and on the top left-hand side of the page there, you'll see the appropriate panel to be able to make your donation. And we really appreciate all the support that we've had to date. I say, unfortunately, a couple of days ago, Nottinghamshire Police decided that rescuing some pallets that had been donated by a local pallet broker was the most important thing on their agenda. Hey, it's just a buggeration factor. That's all it is. It's a minor inconvenience. Meanwhile, for this industry, we have every intention of continuing to be not just a minor inconvenience, but the community that brings about the demise of this once and for all. So thanks for joining me this morning, and I hope to catch with you tomorrow morning. And I know that some of you are coming up from quite some distance at the weekend to help us with construction. So thank you so much, and catch you tomorrow morning, 8:30. Take care.